Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Ordinal ecosystem. What's up, guys? We have another amazing show for you guys today. You guys know we've been really digging into this art thing. We've had so many really good artists on, and today is another one of those episodes. We have the great Boozy.btc. This guy, he's one of the members of Counterculture. He is really amazing at really bringing other artists to the stage, and he's really given a lot of things going for a lot of artists. And we figured we had Prism on, it's time to get Boozy on, so today's that day. So without further ado, we bring in my partner as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What is up, man? I'm excited. We got Boozy
Yeah,
on.
man. We hear a lot of good things about Boozy, man. A lot of good things from Bean. He always talks good stuff about him, and and Prism obviously in the last episode really gave us a good idea who Boozy is. But today we really get to find out.
Yeah, I'm excited. But I feel like since I got into Ordinals, I've seen Boozy around, and he's obviously been there before me. But I feel like he's kind of been in different groups, right? Like obviously with Ninja Alerts, he's the main artist with that, and then the whole Gamma Prince thing. I copped both of those quick. The first two drops. The
So
first
lucky.
the first two bears, and then and then Counterfeit Culture. That's huge because that's a huge movement in itself. Him and Prism seem to be a great tandem, and onboarding artists, and they're doing it in a way to where I feel like their operations are a little bit like kept within, which is how you should probably do it. And then but then like you see the new artists work every season, or like whenever they have like a new drop for a new artist, they make sure to highlight him or her in the right way, right? So I think they do a great job for exposure for their artists.
Yeah.
So
did I say counterculture or counterfeit culture?
You said counterculture. I was just like,
okay. I meant counterfeit culture.
Yeah,
I know what it is. But yeah, okay. All good. So without further ado, let's bring them in. What's up, Boozy?
Hey, GM guys, Shizzy, Yagobi, it's good to see you. Thank you for having me on. Excited stuff, man. How's it going? How you living? How are things today?
Good, man. Good. Appreciate having you on. We know you're super busy. You got a lot of stuff going on, so we really do appreciate you jumping on, spending some time with us.
Yeah, thanks, and thank you for being patient with me today. It's been a crazy day. I'm running out of excuses to say it's been a crazy day. Every day now in this space, and you guys know in this ordinal space, the NFT Web3 space, but specifically ordinal space, it moves at a million years a minute. So we all do our best to try to keep up and to try to show up every day and just not lose track of things too much. Getting to a point where I feel like I might need an assistant or something, but
Yeah, for sure. We definitely know how that is. Like us getting into it, like every day researching, trying to reach out to people like yourself to get on the show. We see how fast it moves. And for someone that like you, that's in multiple different projects and different groups, I can't imagine like how busy that can be for you. So, yeah, we're excited for today's show and for the Ordinal space to learn more about you.
Yeah. So, let's dive right in. Let me go ahead and crack a pint.
Nice. What are you sipping on?
Today we've got, so my drink of choice, and it's a bit of a joke in the community, is a michelada. I love micheladas.
Micheladas.
What is a michelada?
Yeah, it's like it's I love them. Like, so a lot of my art is very michelada driven. But today it's just a regular old High IPA, Florida's best. Just it's what I had.
Nice. Shizzy was asking what a michelada is. I think it's a Bloody Mary type mixed with a beer, right? Something similar to that.
Like it's just basically like good old fashioned, any beer you want. But I would love to have a Corona and some V8 if I'm feeling a little fancy, if I got some money. But otherwise, like some Clamato and a Bud.
Got to get that expensive stuff, the V8 top shelf.
If I can afford it, if it's a good day, if Bitcoin's up over 28,000, I'm having the V8.
Nice.
I can't wait for let's see with 48,000. Maybe you're getting some Patron.
Oh yeah, here we go. I love my tequila.
Yeah, man. All right, so let's just dig right into it. So on the show, obviously, we like to dig at projects. We love art, but we really like to get to know the person. If you can kind of take us back as far back as possible and kind of give us your backstory, your origin story, as some might say.
Yeah, sure. So my artistic background goes back, just like I said, and many other artists, it goes back many, many, many years. I mean, I've been drawing and doodling since I can remember as a child. I mean, I remember being a child and I couldn't afford like the art supplies and paper. So when I was, young and poor, I would go to the library and I would tear out the blank pages at like the front of a book, like one or two blank pages typically at the front or the rear of a book. I would just go through the library and I would just tear them out. And I would grab, I'd pick up a book and take one, pick up another book and take one, and go home with a stack of like blank paper. Because at home I had like a composition notebook or something with the lines on it. I hated it. I wanted that blank paper. So that was my little way to get a hold of something like that. And then, until I can get things like printer paper. As a kid in like middle school, I remember like getting like a ream of printer paper was like Christmas for me. It's a lot of drawing material to work with, So it was in art forever. Pushed my way through graphic design in college. Found out pretty quickly that there's not a lot of money in graphic design. It'll quickly be replaced by a 12-year-old with a MacBook. So I dropped that out of college pretty quickly. Had an experience in graffiti in my youth, got caught just one time, got in trouble, and decided it's probably not the best path. So I gave that up after about a year or two. And did a lot of painting, sold a lot of physical paintings. That was my thing in my 20s. A lot of physical paintings at, brew houses, any kind of gallery I can find locally. And it really wasn't until like JPEG summer of 2021, right, when everything was just going madness, I decided to try out NFTs and digital art. I mean, I've always done digital art from, years before that, going back to like, 2015. As soon as iPads and the Apple Pencil, whenever that was a thing, I got into that right away, and didn't really see a lot of, benefit in digital art and publishing digital art because of the right-click save narrative, right? You can just save someone's work, and there was no way to sell that. And I finally kind of dug into it in 2021 and realized that there is something there, that as an artist, you can take control of your work. There's things like creator royalties, smart contracts, and that really set me down like that rabbit hole all over again, because at that time I was already investing in Bitcoin. I was already buying Bitcoin. I was already starting to understand what hard money was because of Bitcoin. So it's like that rabbit hole, and then this rabbit hole of smart contracts and NFTs. And from there, it's like I'm sitting currently next to a piece of canvas for a painting I started like 2 years ago, ever since NFTs, and this is back in like 2021, I started this painting. I haven't touched it. I'm sitting right next to it. I just haven't touched it because of digital art. I've just been so focused on the digital side of things that I haven't even picked up a paintbrush. I've tried to pick it up and just kind of stare at the canvas, but there's so many ideas in my head digitally that I've always gone right back to the iPad and Photoshop and Illustrator. So I've become obsessed with digital art and what it means for artists ever since that JPEG summer moment.
That's awesome. So how was that JPEG summer moment for you? Did you like really pick it up and run with it and really get in on a lot of the collections, or was it just misery after misery?
Well, it was so being like I used to call myself a recovering Bitcoin maxi. I got wrecked like everyone else, around like the ICO days,
Yeah.
2017, but at the time you could throw money at pretty much any coin and make a little money if you're smart.
Yeah.
But I've never been a good trader. I got wrecked so hard. I lost a lot of my Bitcoin trying to chase these things. So that really kind of solidified the Bitcoin maximalist in me at that time, around 2018, 2019. And so I found stacks because I wanted to do this NFT thing. I wanted to give it a shot, but I still wasn't sold on messing with things like Ethereum or whatever chains. I mean, Tezos was one I was kind of interested in because of the artwork community that Tezos had, but I wasn't interested in messing with it because I wanted to mess with Bitcoin. So I found stacks, and that was the closest thing to Bitcoin as far as I knew at that time. So dove into that directly, and I started reaching out to Gamma. At the time, it was STX NFT. At the time, there was another one called Byzantium, which is now like Tradeport. I think they've changed their name too since then. But this is back when Stacks NFTs were very new. I'm talking within a couple of months of Stacks NFTs being something that was something. And I was reaching out to all these co-founders and talking to like Nick very, very one-on-one at the time and trying to get him to help me with this stuff. And they didn't really have creator portals back then. So you basically had to work with like the co-founders of these places or these marketplaces directly to have them put your work on Stacks. So they ended up helping me launch my first collection, which was a 24-piece collection called Booze Brains on Stacks. And I was so welcomed by the community. At the time, I was very into Negapont, and maybe familiar with Negapont. It's a Stacks community.
Yeah.
I was very involved with them at the time. That was my first experience buying NFTs and trading NFTs through Negapont and Stacks. So, I mean, immediately I made this drop of 24 pieces. It sold out within like a minute or two.
Wow.
Because of the community, because of them. They showed up to support me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like hooked at that point. And again, at the time, Stacks was the only thing that was the closest way to putting your artwork on Bitcoin. So I was full into Stacks. I really didn't touch Ethereum. Only recently I've kind of dabbled in Ethereum a little bit just to experiment. But it's not something I intentionally do a lot of. I'm very Bitcoin focused. And then of course, once Ordinals became an option, and that was a bit of a wake up moment for me as well, because up until that point, up until, January or February of this year, when Ordinals kind of started getting some heat, I thought I was putting my work on Bitcoin through Stacks. So I learned a little more at that time of kind of the ins and outs of blockchain and how this all really works. And I realized, okay, Stacks is not, it's settling with Bitcoin, or it settles on Bitcoin, but you're not putting your work on Bitcoin like I had thought. And so ordinal theory just kind of blew my mind, how you're actually able to now put your artwork literally on chain, and then after, of course, everything started falling apart with the bear market. And now there's some NFTs in my wallets that I have across Ethereum where you go to look at it and the image is gone. It's no longer being hosted, by whoever was hosting it at the time. So I've learned a lot about what it really means to put your work actually on chain. So Ordinals to me has been like this godsend of a situation or a moment in time where now I just want to bring every artist into this with me. I'm obsessed with this concept of kind of, it's almost like religion. Like I want to show every artist that I talk to or I come across like this thing that is Ordinals in a way to really secure your artwork, hopefully permanently, right? It's supposed to be immutable. And if Bitcoin keeps running, then it will be. And fingers crossed. I know a lot of us have a lot of equity in Bitcoin. So if it doesn't work out, we're all fucked. Yeah. So that's kind of the story of where I was from the beginning to now. But ever since January, when Ordinals picked up, I've really dug in my heels and I decided this is where I'm going to make my mark for as long as the world will let me.
Yeah, that's an awesome backstory, especially when you were younger and getting those books from the library. Did you never get caught for doing that?
No. I would just, I was nice about it. If there was 2 white blank pages, I would take one and move on.
No, but it is an amazing story. Just the passion of being an artist. That part of your backstory just screams your passion. Throughout your whole story. But a question that I have for you is, coming over to Bitcoin, Ordinals. Not the Stacks part, because Ordinals is definitely different. We know, like, with the inscription numbers, the rare sats, all that stuff. But even more than that, there's like this new skill set that digital artists can acquire in Ordinals, and that's learning some of the coding part to be able to do like recursion and stuff. How have you seen that? Like, have you approached that? Like, have you dove head on into that, or are you kind of taking your time with that? Do you see that as like a barrier of entry, or as like a feature of becoming another skill set added to digital artists?
It's both. It's definitely a barrier to entry, but it's also a skill set. So it's definitely both of those things. So starting with like the barrier to entry problem, that's the first thing. Prism and I, the co-founder of Counterfeit Culture with me, I'm his co-founder. I like to say he's at the helm of that ship. I just tag along with him. That's the first thing we have to explain to artists that are interested is there is a massive barrier to entry because of the file size requirements. You have to fit, your art on a 4 megabyte Bitcoin block, of which if you're lucky, will get 400 kilobytes of. Massive barriers to entry. There's a lot of technical challenges, but it's fascinating, and it's really interesting because you're teaching someone who's already learned something that is unique. So Web3 in itself, if you look at Web3 from a very broad standpoint of wallets and seed phrases, starting that high level, you can't talk to 9 out of 10 people you walk or experience every day. If you go to the coffee shop and you ask someone what a seed phrase is or what a Web3 wallet is, most people have zero idea what that is. So we are in this weird bubble of tech, and it's really cool for us to understand like the self-sovereignty of not your keys, not your cheese, and if you lose your seed phrase, you lose everything. So there is like this self-reliance of Web3, but then you can take that even further with inscriptions and Bitcoin and ordinals. So it's like you're teaching people that are already like in this elite group of Web3 nerds another nerdy thing that's like another layer down. It's like Inception. It's like, let's go within a dream, it's completely different, but same, but different, but still same, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very interesting concept to teach someone, and you feel weird when you're talking like these artists. You feel like you're like you don't want to like talk to them like they're stupid. You're like, I know you understand Web3, but there's another level of it I have to explain to you, and this is why. Because every artist is like, I don't get it. Like, why can't I just drop a 50 megabyte piece of art on Bitcoin? I'm like, pump the brakes. There's a lot to understand here. So it's definitely a barrier to entry. Absolutely a huge barrier to entry, but it's also, as you said, it's a feature. It's another skill to learn. It's another thing you can teach yourself. And I am just now starting to order like the equipment that I need and everything I need to run my own node, and like I should have been running a node years ago, but something like Ordinals is going to push a lot of people to that level. It's going to expand upon what makes Bitcoin so great. It's going to make people run their own nodes that otherwise may not have done that. So I think it's a huge feature, as much as it is a bug. It's a weird dilemma in a way. I mostly rely on Prism and Counterfeit Culture and the team there. Like EOM is our lead developer. I rely on them a lot to help me with this stuff, and I'm very blessed to have that. I'm very lucky to have them, so I can throw them a piece of art and say, "Hey, can you put this on chain? I want it on this Satoshi. I want it on a Silk Road sat, whatever it may be." I'm very lucky to have that, but I do have to. I do understand that there is an importance in teaching myself the same things and giving myself the same resources and the same tools so that I can be, self-sovereign, do this stuff on my own. So, yeah, it's both of those things. It's a barrier to entry as much as it is a feature and something very important that I think everyone should take the time to learn in this space.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You said something about put it on with Satoshi. How important are the rare sats to you? And what do you think is that like? What's the come with that? Like, is that something that we're gonna always be different? Makes us different from other chains?
I think so. I think it's I'm not crazy about like the rare sat part of it per se. Like, I mean, I get the value in it. It's the equivalent, in my opinion, of collecting like rare coins, but they're not. It's not just the rare coins that's cool. I mean, it'd be great to collect like, if you're looking at it like in US dollar terms, if there was a quarter and there was only 1,000 of these quarters ever in existence, it's pretty badass to collect that. And by nature, I think human beings are collectors. I mean, I got a feeling you both collected Pokemon cards with me back in the day, right? I mean, how cool!
I did.
Like, remember that feeling? It didn't matter. It was cool and it felt good to collect these cards. It felt good to open up the packs and chase these things. The same thing applies. That's like a human instinct. That's a human nature. We're never not going to want to collect things. So I love that it gives us this layer of collectability. And I mean, it's fun to go on like any marketplace, whether it be Satting or Magisat or even Magic Eden now has their platform for rare sats. It's fun to scroll through and look for the sat you want, find it, and feel like you found one you wanted and you found a good deal on it. It's exciting. It's human instinct. But from an art standpoint, it's the equivalent of, I look at it like it's your canvas. When you go to the store as an artist and you're buying canvas for your paintings, there are a number of options. There's your typical kind of cheapo canvas, a little bit on the discount side. It typically comes in a pack of 10 or something like that. And then you have what we would call like a gallery wrapped canvas, where it's much thicker. It comes with like sturdy wood. You can even buy some pieces of canvas that are made with different types of wood, oak and this and that. And then you might enjoy painting on a wall, a concrete wall that maybe you shouldn't be painting on. It's the same thing, I think. It's nothing more than a canvas. So to have your black stats, your Silk Road stats, your Hitman stats, I think from an art standpoint, it just increases and adds to the narrative behind the art piece that you're working on. I remember in the beginning when sats were rare sats and exotic sats were kind of first happening. It was kind of a new thing. It seemed like everyone was just inscribing anything they could on these sats, and I thought that was kind of stupid. Like you're, if anything, you're just like you're just ruining that sat. You're painting on a good sat. Now, if you use it for a narrative, like for example, I'm working on this collection now that is very tied to the narrative of Silk Road. The entire collection is going to be based on everything Silk Road and Ross, and each piece is on a Silk Road stat. So that kind of adds to that narrative. Like the piece we did today with Counterfeit Culture with Eka, it was on a palindrome, and everything she does is there's a lot of numbers in hers, a lot of number-based things in her work. So using a number palindrome, it makes sense. Like it adds to the narrative. And then Zilla was an artist we had. He's a graffiti artist. Like he used block 9s for his, and there's a narrative thing there. So I think if you use them right, it's awesome. It adds to the coolness of and the novelty of your art. But I don't think there's a benefit in inscribing on rare or exotic stats just to do it. I think what makes it cool is it just kind of adds to the story and the narrative and the character behind the art.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that there's a separation of artists that have passion whenever they're creating this digital art, and then like there's this whole collector community, and I think the rare stats and early inscriptions are added layers of value that really can get like the kid in you, like the Pokemon, ripping the Pokemon packs or sports cards for me, right? And so I think really just finding the market fit for different different projects within Ordinals, it's going to work, right? And then like some artists just don't care. They just want to just put their art out there. So I think that's where I'm seeing the difference there. But I'm excited about it because I do feel like the collector side is just going to grow so much more over here.
Yeah, and like, and going back to the Pokemon card reference, I mean, it works in two directions where, you guys can probably remember too how cool it was to have like the right notebook, like the right trapper keeper or whatever you'd call those things back then of your cards. Like that was equally as cool. You felt like a badass showing up to the lunch table and boom, dropping this thing on the lunch table, and it's this dope fucking trapper keeper, and you got your stickers all over it, and then inside of your Pokemon cards, and you felt good about that. So it's the same kind of concept, I think, is like these rare stats are like that trapper keeper in a way. Like they're just that next layer of cool for whatever it is you're doing or whatever it is you're inscribing. So the more tools we can have to add to that narrative, the more cool shit we can have to tell our story. It's like, bring it on. It's like the same reason we wear like certain clothes and stuff. Same concept. We ultimately want to show off our stuff. And as an artist now in Bitcoin, we have an option to show off our stuff on a cool set. So it's like a double whammy.
Yeah. There's so many different things you can do with that narrative. Imagine like a product coming out, a digital product coming out. It's doing randomized mints in a mint of 100. There's like, I don't know, like 5 uncommons that are on there, and you just randomly hit them whenever you mint. That would bring that little kid out of you, right? Or like Boozy said, it's a special premium Prince edition drop with all on special sats or something like that. So
and that's a genius idea, what you just said. I mean, if you're minting something, that's an added level of like metadata or traits. Like when I look at like collections on, I'll use OpenSea as an example because OpenSea has these tools and these features and it's very robust. But I love to run through the metadata and search for pieces in that NFT collection by the metadata.
Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with Goblin Town? You are. Yeah. I'm a huge Goblin Town like fan. I was in on that. I bought the fucking top, as I do. Yeah. But I really enjoy going through the metadata, and the names they had for these traits were bizarre. They weren't like black face, you know, like black t-shirt. It was like bizarre words that made no sense. But again, it was that added layer of like collectability, of weirdness, of cool, which is one more thing to add to the metadata, or to add to the collectability that scratches all of that natural collector instinct that we have as human beings. So I mean, if there was a project minting and you may or may not pull a rare stat with a cool picture tied to it, that's cool. That's fun. Same concept. It's like opening up that Pokemon card pack and maybe you get that Charizard, maybe you don't, you know, but when you do, there's nothing quite like that feeling.
Yeah, and I think it's even better over here though, because it's actually inscribed on Bitcoin, and you could eventually probably put it on a cold wallet. And I was telling Shizzy, who knows what the future looks like with these collectability communities. They might have their own conventions and trade with, like, they all have their wallets there or something. We don't know where it's going to go, but I'm excited about it because I come from a collector background. My family and stuff do that with tangible collectibles, so it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's something that's never going away, and like you said, it's you know, it's I would love to see this go more physical too. So you just said that about like having your wallets out and whatnot. Like I would show up to that event. If there's an event I can go to, we can just sit around and swap stuff between wallets like that. I can just show up and say, hey, just trade this for that. Just like those old Pokemon card days. Man, sign me up.
Yeah, man. That's actually amazing idea that I haven't seen really anyone use yet. Like opening packs here, and when you open that pack, it's on a uncommon. Like the Charizard of the, you know, is on the uncommon, and the rest of them are on common sats, and that's your holographic. You know, when you get that, oh wow, it's on an uncommon. It's like, oh wow, it's a holo, or oh wow, it's a Charizard non-holo, and that's a really amazing idea. I haven't seen anyone even think of that yet.
Yeah, and what you could do is just have like other sats in there too, attached to other ones that aren't as rare, you know, like block 9s, block 7/8s, whatever, and then just common sats or whatever. So it is like opening a pack. And maybe we shouldn't release this video so quickly, and then we join the BTC startup lab and get a developer. And then Boozy's our artist. There we go.
I'm here pitching gold. Like right now, someone took this idea, and it's just a gold idea, man. I love this.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Amen. I want to get your opinion on something. So a lot of artists, they hate the 10K PFP collections, you know, your frogs and stuff like that, and but there's some people that actually like them and enjoy them, and you seem to be someone who actually is okay with the company, is an amazing artist, but it's actually okay with the this, you know, your template type of PFP collection. I was wondering if you could talk about that and your feelings towards the 10K collections over the you know, the 1, 2 here or there ones.
Yeah. I mean, I personally, as an artist, I would never do a 10K. Like, it's just not for me. Like, I appreciate scarcity. And that in itself is a very challenging thing, because like your options are produce work or don't. And the moment you stop producing work, especially in this space, as fast as it moves, you'll be forgotten. So I have no choice but to produce work, and I want to produce work. And I don't want that to sound like a negative thing. I want to produce the work, but I favor smaller collections. Me personally, I have a number of random collections that are out there now between Stacks and Bitcoin, and they're all like low supply. I mean, I'm talking like 40 supply is like a right click inscribe that we did. Moose Brains was 24. There was another one on Stacks called Creature Feature that was 69. Like I appreciate smaller supply personally as an artist. I'd rather do multiple collections with different styles and different concepts with a lower supply than I would like a 10K. Even with like Ninja Alerts coming up, like that was the first thing I asked when I was approached by Trevor is, I expect him to say, 10,000 or some kind of large number, and it's just not my vibe. Thankfully, it ended up being 1,500, which this collection of 1,500 will now be the largest collection I've ever done.
Okay. Wow.
And even then I was like, how do you feel about bringing that back down to like 1,000? Like, no, like this is the number we want to do. It makes sense. Like there's obviously like a lot to that, and I understand why they would want to do that 1,500. So that's the largest collection I've ever done, and it very well might be the largest collection that I ever do. I do have a dream one day of doing my own like my flagship collection, but I don't see it exceeding 600, 900 pieces at most. It's just how I roll. But I love a good 10K. I do, as a collector, as a degen. I love a good 10K collection. I love PFPs. I don't think PFPs are dead. I mean, the narrative for a moment there was that PFPs are dead, and I believe that narrative came to be only because PFPs burned a lot of people. Like I said, I bought Goblin Town at the top. I lost thousands on Goblin. I lost thousands in Nakamigos. I lost a lot of money. It is what it is. This is the gamble that we play, you know, and you're not going to have these degen plays, and you're not going to have that seat at the table in the casino unless you have these 10K collections. And the added benefit is we're not just gambling on black and red, we're gambling on a picture with some really cool traits behind it that I get to hang on to forever. If I lose my money, okay, I still have my little picture. It's worth all of like $80, but I'm happy to have it. So I'm a huge fan of 10Ks. I think 10Ks have an absolute place, and they always will. I mean, and I mentioned Nakamigos. I appreciate what they did by going to a 20K collection. I'm not happy they dropped, you know, cloaks, which is another 20K collection, because obviously my bags fell even further, and I lost a little money there again. But it's fun. It's fun. It's something unique, because those 10Ks allow that broad distribution. They allow the project to reach a lot of collectors and a massive community. You don't get that with the collections that I do. With the 40 collection, you know, 40-piece collection, I have all of like maybe 25 collectors of that collection right there. I mean, it's small enough to where I'm not reaching a lot of people. So there's absolutely a benefit in 10Ks. I love a good 10K, but it's not for everyone, and I understand that, and I can see why. But yeah, me personally, I'm a big fan of PFPs. I will probably always want to do PFP collections. They're just fun. I genuinely really enjoy playing with the traits and all these things. Like the Ninja Lords collection has been so much fun to do. It reminded me of how much fun it is to do that and play with things like the generators of, you know, the hat changes, the eyes change, yada, yada, yada. It's just a lot of fun. And I'm a big fan of 10Ks and PFP collections in general.
Yeah, I don't think PFPs will ever die until people with large followings stop using them as their PFP, you know? And I feel like branding is such a big part of Twitter, which is now X, and people that are in the crypto space that have large followings always brand with their PFP. So there'll always be a place for it, in my opinion.
And what's cool too about PFPs is that they are becoming very mainstream. I mean, PFPs, in the sense that we refer to PFPs as PFPs, are relatively new, but at the same time, PFPs have been a thing forever. Yeah. Whether it be your personal picture, whether it be whatever you want to use. I mean, going back, if you guys are gamers, you know that everyone always has some kind of gaming profile photo. It's not a new concept by any means, but I think in our little bubble we live in, the Web3, it made it very mainstream. I mean, I've been seeing PFPs, like random little yellow ninja cats on LinkedIn, and it blew my mind to see like these NFT style PFPs on LinkedIn. These are professional people applying for jobs for a $200,000 a year salary, and they've got a ninja cat on their profile picture. It's mind blowing, but that's the world we live in, and I think it's really cool that we've come to that point. And then you've got things like Apple and iMessage. Now, I mean, how many times have you been on iMessage and you text somebody and it says, "Hey, do you want to update their photo to whatever their iMessage like account, yada yada," and it's a cartoon kitty or something? It's the world we live in now. It's PFPs are not dead. PFPs are just getting started.
I agree. I definitely agree. I want to get into something else. So you spoke about Goblin Town. Goblin Town is kind of the reason why I'm so bullish on Ordinals, and I kind of want to get your opinion on this. So back in July, Goblin Town, something happened with the royalties on OpenSea, and Goblin Town got pissed off, and they changed all the pictures to the middle finger, and that right there just got me so like bearish on NFTs, and then Ordinals come around, right? And so that really got me bullish Ordinals, knowing that once it's inscribed, that is, and it's in your wallet, nobody can change that. In your opinion, do you think these AWS type chains are dead, and Ordinals is like the only option now?
No, I think there's a place for both. Like I really enjoy a good metadata change. When Goblin Town did what they did with those middle fingers, I fucking loved it. I remember waking up.
Okay.
I woke up in bed. I back then I was looking at my wallet like every morning. I kind of look at my OpenSea, yada yada, just kind of check it out. I remember waking up one morning and seeing that, and I didn't blink. I just rolled over to my wife and I was like, check this out, because she bought the top. She bought the top with me. She's a true degen. I rolled over and showed her. I was like, this is what we lost our money on. And I just kind of put it in her face. She's like, what is that? I'm like, I don't know, but it's hilarious. I thought it was the funniest thing ever. And I appreciate that. Like, I appreciate
I'm shocked by that.
I appreciate a good metadata flip. Like, I love like what Jack Butcher has done with things like checks and the OPEPN edition. Like, I love flipping metadata. I love the ability to change those things. But there's a time and a place for it, right? I think the hard lesson with Goblin Town, as you're saying, the hard lesson was it reminded people, or didn't even remind them, it showed people that you really don't own much of anything. You really don't. And that's why Ordinals has the power narrative that it does, because it is immutable. It is fine. It is what it is. And I think if anyone ever wants to create something where it's like, oh, we can flip the metadata on Ordinals, I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want that. There are chains. There's Ethereum for that. If you want to do these things, you want to have this kind of flexibility, there's Ethereum for that. But if you want immutability, if you want to know very well what it is you're either buying or collecting, and that will never change, that's Ordinals. So it's like both sides of the coin, It's like there's room for both. There's always a narrative for both. But that's why, as an artist, I do really, really, really preach the Ordinals narrative, because it would suck it would suck for both the collector and the artist to create some kind of art and you put it out there, and then in 5 years, it's a blank 404 page. That won't happen with Ordinals, hopefully, as long as we keep these indexers going. So I appreciate both sides of that coin, though, to answer your question.
That's a really good perspective on that, because I've talked to a lot of people, and everyone usually just says that's why Ordinals are amazing, and it's actually nice to actually hear that, because I didn't even think about that. It might be it might be a project that wants to constantly change their metadata. So yeah, thank you for that.
Well, I'm running a collection now. Like, I have an old collection on Stacks called See Yourself Out, where the purpose of that collection was to flip the metadata every so often. I made that very clear, like, going on. Like, when you buy, it's a 100-piece collection. When you buy these NFTs or these pieces of art, they will change. And I'm probably not going to give you a heads up. I'm just going to change them on you. And that's just the fun of it. That's the game we're playing together. As a collector, that's what you're getting into, is knowing that this art will not always be the same, which is kind of why I called it See Yourself Out, is that it would just change on you like that. But Ordinals had happened shortly after I dropped that collection, so I've kind of put that in the back burner. I've been letting my collectors know that I'm still working on that. I'm actually probably gonna. It sounds weird now saying it out loud, but I'm probably gonna burn that over to Ordinals, because now there's things like reinscription.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
parent-child, right?
It's perfect. So it's like now there's this like tool on Ordinals, which even adds another layer of excitement and complexity. So I'm probably going to do that. Not probably, I'm going to do that. It's just a matter of time. I gotta, like, once I get past the Ninja Alerts collection, I'll probably move immediately my focus to that. So yeah, now we can find a whole new layer of an avenue of fun for the collectors of the See Yourself Out collection. But at the time, that was what was fun for me, is having the ability to change the metadata and flip the images whenever I want on a moment's notice. But of course, I think as an artist, if you're making that clear to your collectors that that's something that's going to happen, great. It would be kind of messed up to not make that clear and just to flip things on people. It's kind of messed up, in my opinion. So yeah, it is a very two-way street, double-sided coin situation, But yeah, I really do appreciate both of those things, but I ultimately lean in the favor of the immutability of Bitcoin.
Yeah. And that is coming. I'm sure it's already here. I don't think people have created many collections like that. But with the parent-child and then the reinscription, if you own the parent inscription ordinal, then you will have the ability to reinscribe the child, and so you can change that. And that, I think that's what you're talking about, Boozy, right?
Yeah. So yeah, a bit of an opt-in situation. I would, like I said, I want the collectors to know want them to know what they're getting into. But yeah. So there's a whole new avenue of fun that didn't really exist. It wasn't even fathomable like 6 months ago.
Yeah. And I think the marketplaces will probably have an indicator for that for people that are shopping. Hey, look, this is a child inscription. So that would be necessary, in my opinion, to let them know. But I have a question for you. So how did you feel when Trevor approached you about, doing the art for Ninja Alerts? Was that something like that caught you off guard? Because he has a pretty big presence. So what was that like?
Well, so I was already kind of working with Ninja Alerts prior to that. A little bit on the side, like I work with Max, the co-founder of Ninja Alerts. I believe he's the co-founder. So Trevor, forgive me, and Max, forgive me if I'm wrong when I'm saying this, but I believe he's the co-founder. He approached me to do some work for the website. They were building out their version 2 or 3 or whatever the update was at the time of their website. He liked my art style. He liked the work that you see in the PFP was very similar at the time. I was doing a lot of work under that existing style, and he wanted me to do his little ninjas for him. And I did a couple. It was like 4 or 5 graphics I did just to help them kind of put some cool stuff on their website. And then Trevor approached me a few months later saying, hey, like, I like this little ninja thing could be something. We could build upon this little character you built. And that's what you see in like Trevor's PFP, like that primary face. Like it's the metadata will say like classic Ninja Alerts Ninja or something like that. But that little face is kind of like what they were really drawn to. And he was like, hey, can we do 1,500 of these? I was like, 1,500 of that? Like, how? I mean, how do you do that? Like, so yeah, it wasn't. I guess I was surprised because yeah, Trevor's a a big player in this space, and so it was a bit of a surprise to be asked to do that collection. But at the time, I've already been kind of like talking to them, so it wasn't like completely catching me off guard. But no, I was thrilled. I mean, I was thrilled for the opportunity to work with them. Trevor is a visionary. He's got this way of like when I talk to him on calls, like he's so like he'll come up with ideas within his ideas. Like it's so interesting to talk to him. Like he'll have an idea and then like explain his idea. I'm like, oh, I got another idea based on this idea, and it's like he just spitballs to himself. It's weird. I'm just like, I'm just here, man. I'm just listening to you. Like he just goes on this tangents of like creativity and things just coming to his brain. Like he's a visionary, and it's always amazing to watch him work. So I'm stoked to work with him and the team. And then Max is the exact opposite of that in terms of Max is OCD. Max is the guy that is responsible for the color palette that is Ninja Alerts. I'm very proud of my color palettes. Like I love my colors. I'm very proud of them. And like Max just hit the door in on me and was like, your color palette's shit. Like he flat out said that to me. Like basically, wow. Your color palette sucks. Like it's wrong. What do you mean it's wrong? Like he mathematically showed me why my color palettes are not right. Like it was amazing. It's fascinating to work with the duality of these two. You got Trevor, this big brain that's like he's thinking of just everything you can think of, futures, years ahead. And then Max is just like OCD, like very detailed, like everything is mathematical. It's a very weird environment to be in. I'm just like in the middle, like, just to me what to do, man. Just tell me what to do. I'll do it. But of course they give me the creative freedom that I have to do, Ninja Alerts and some of the branding that we're doing for Ninja Alerts. So it's, to answer your question, it was a surprise, but at the same time, like I've already been talking to them, so I wasn't like completely caught off guard, but I was thrilled for the opportunity for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. All right, man. This has been absolutely amazing. We appreciate your time. It's been great. So this is kind of the part of the show. We kind of give you the stage to talk to our community. You can really say anything you want. The stage is yours.
Yeah, I would say, first and foremost, thank you to you guys, man. Thanks for having me on this show. Thank you for anyone that listens back to the show, anyone listening, of course. Thank you for the entire ordinal space, man. Like we all show up every single day, and like I don't think we get enough credit individually. Like you guys, you don't get enough credit individually for showing up and doing this every day. Like it's going to be another interesting Thanksgiving, I think, for all of us when we tell our parents and our grandparents and our family. What have you been working on in the basement for the last year? Oh, this little magic internet bean art, Mom. You know, it's
that's when everybody goes and gets dessert.
Yeah, I know. It's all like every Thanksgiving I get to drone on about how the US dollar is shit. Anyway, I would encourage everyone to check out what we're doing with Counterfeit Culture. You know, Prism is an absolute machine. I have never worked with someone as driven and as inspired as he is to help bring art to Bitcoin. I mean, the guy is a machine, and he really genuinely cares about the art. He cares about the artists, and I am very, very happy to work with him. Like I said earlier, he's at the helm of this ship, and I'm just happy to be there, you know, as his first mate, helping him along the way and onboarding artists and building out this madness that is Counterfeit Culture. So definitely check that out. And then, of course, you know, Ninja Alerts too. I mean, not only is it some pretty cool art, it's a little quirky, it's a little fun. I'm very proud of the art we've done with this project so far. But it's a cool degen tool as well. Once you get the Ninja Alert Ninja, you also get access to the Ninja Alerts platform, which is a pretty cool degen trading tool for ordinals. And I think once the bull market comes back and the volume is through the roof, it'll be pretty badass to have access to that tool and to get the insights to the trades and whatnot. And again, we all like gambling a little bit, but this will give you a little bit of an edge, of course, to have a Ninja Alert Ninja in your wallet. So, yeah, man, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure. Love everything you're doing. Love that you're giving spotlights to the artists and the creators and the DJs like me in the space as well.
Yeah, we appreciate it, man. Like I said, we know you're super busy with so much stuff going on. You took time out of your day to jump on with us and our community and the Ordinals community, and they learned a little bit more about you today. So we appreciate that, and we know you're gonna kick ass and release some great stuff. So we're excited to see what you got coming.
Yeah, man. And if you ever need a platform to come on and talk, you're always open here. Just send me a DM. We'll get you right on. Or if you know any artists who need that, that breakout moment, please send them here, and we'll love to have them on.
Yeah, definitely know a handful of artists. I know you guys are working with some already and doing some interviews for some of the great artists on Bitcoin so far, from what I've heard. So excellent to hear that. And then, yeah, guys, if you want, let's build some weird, cool Pokemon card stuff we talked about earlier. It's a great idea.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have to jump on a private call, and so we don't give everybody our secrets. But we appreciate you, Boozy. You have yourself a good night, and we'll talk to you soon, sir.
All right, guys, have a good one. Be easy. I'll see you around.
All right,
see you, buddy.
Sounds good.
Well, absolutely amazing. He's a great guy, man. Prism kind of told us a lot of good things about him, and everything he said was absolutely true. He's an absolutely great person.
Yeah, I mean, insane positive energy vibes you could feel from him, and we just get that from the ordinal space in general, right? But like when you get someone like Boozy on that like is someone that's kind of like blossoming into like his own right now, getting his name out there. Ninja Alerts is a big deal that he's the artist for that, because the people behind it are big in the space. Plus, like, his prints are popular on Gamma. Counterfeit Culture. I mean, like, what else could you do, right? Like, he's really set up for like success. But not only that, like when you hear him, he's passionate and he wants what's best for the space. You could tell, So I love when we get a guest like Boozy on the show, because we could probably talk for another hour to him.
We really could. If this wasn't our second show today, we probably would have talked a lot longer.
I wanted to talk to him about Prince, but I knew that I was like, okay, I think it's we talked about a lot of stuff. We'll get him on for
definitely
second
around
episode.
two. Yeah, I know we definitely have some more stuff to talk about, and it would be nice when Ninja Alerts maybe come out. Maybe if he wants to come on for that, that would be nice. But definitely have him on again. And so we appreciate you guys for watching. If you guys can't watch, you can definitely listen. We're on Apple, we're on Spotify. We appreciate you guys. Appreciate every single view, every single like, every single comment, and keep doing it for us. Thank you.
Yeah, go support these artists, because you supporting them and getting a couple prints, not financial advice, but could be a little something down the road. But yeah, we appreciate you. Like Shizzy said, nothing's financial advice on here. We are here for research and a platform for all the builders in the space that are legitimate and positive. So we love you guys, and peace.
To your point, real quick though, not everything has to be an investment, right? Buying this art doesn't have to be an investment. You know what I mean? It could just be something that you're
personal.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I just wanted to point it out. Thank you guys. Peace.
Peace.